I'm here today with Joe Ankes, a legal recruiter and lawyer with nearly 30 years of experience, who I've personally known for 42 years. How is the pandemic impacting the legal job market?
What I found was that when the pandemic really kind of started to blossom in March, at the inception, the firms really almost shut down as far as hiring went, because everybody was trying to really figure out where we were. And what I noticed was over time, probably culminating in late July, firms had really started to accept the fact that hiring was going to be done through Zoom, and that the traditional modes of in-person interviewing really now were essentially non-existent. So at the end of the day, things are, I won't say it's completely normal, but I will say that firms now are hiring, especially in litigation and in bankruptcy.
Job searching, even normally without a pandemic, can be overwhelming. But especially now, might be a little more stressful. Do you have 3 tips that you could give folks that are job searching during the pandemic?
The first thing is probably more in the realm of common sense, which is please don't be too hard on yourself right now, which is understandably, you're most likely distracted, and you're trying to juggle a whole host of responsibilities, in your role as either a parent, a friend, a caretaker, plus trying to practice law, plus if you want to add the stress of getting a job. So again, you do what you can do within reason, because many people have shifted into so many different roles that we can't necessarily treat this like a traditional job search. The other tip that this pandemic has highlighted is the absolute need for networking, because we aren't able to get out for as much coffee or lunch or dinner or business meetings as we are used to. I have found that sources like LinkedIn and virtual bar association meetings really actually give people the chance to more meaningfully connect than in the past, when LinkedIn may have been kind of a secondary source, or a bar meeting may have been a secondary source. Now I see these things becoming primary sources, basically because of the situation that we're in. And then the third tip that has been borne out for me on the recruiting side is, and what my clients share with me is that for candidates that are interviewing, treat it like an interview. Just because it's a Zoom interview doesn't mean that you can show up in your bathrobe, or have necessarily the family milling around in the background. I mean, give that interview the dignity that it deserves. What you'll find is that people sometimes think the Zoom setting lulls people into complacency, but that's really not what your role should be. For a man that's interviewing, you should wear either a shirt and tie, coat and tie, suit and tie, and put on the suit pants, please, because that's really awkward if you have to stand up and you're wearing shorts and a tie. It's just not a good look on an interview. And for the ladies, again, dress just similar to gentlemen, just dress as if you were going to court, but give these interviews the dignity they deserve, because the employers have commented to me that they didn't appreciate the casual nature of people kind of downplaying their job search.
That's great. I think those are all great ideas, and certainly I try to wear my pants to court for sure.
Yeah.
I have one more personal question to ask you. Personally, that health and wellness of all Florida bar members is so important to me. Can you give our listeners your top tip for health and wellness during the pandemic?
The one tip that I would say is take care of yourself. And the reason why I say that is because you can be of no use or help to people around you if you yourself are completely run down. In this pandemic, many people are trying to do too much for everybody else, and at the end of the day, they've neglected themselves. So as simplistic as it sounds, if you need that break, take it, and be kind to yourself, because we all know we could all benefit from a little bit of patience and a little bit of kindness during this time.
So true. Joe, thanks so much for all your helpful advice and your words of encouragement. We really appreciate you joining me today on The Docket with Dory.
Thanks, Dory. Good seeing you.